All right, Iowa, as you have undoubtedly heard by now, we are looking straight in the face of an ice storm approaching the state here tonight, Friday into Saturday morning. And we're looking at current radar here just after 5 o'clock this Friday afternoon. And watch here, just in the southwest corner of the state, we have the first inkling of the storm entering, likely in the form of freezing rain. And that has led to the National Weather Service putting out a slew of winter weather advisories and a little more serious, an ice storm warning there in eastern Iowa. Now, if you're in this affected area, basically from east of Des Moines through much of I 80 east and I 380 corridor, that's going to be a real mess for you, even further south. And I wouldn't be surprised if this ice storm warning is extended to look maybe something like that. I don't know what that is, but anyway. We may not be all said and done by the time the storm is impacting the state. I think the National Weather Service is probably just waiting for more certainty on temperatures and how much precipitation in those areas. So let's look at the HRRR model. Now, this is a little different than we've been looking at in the last few videos. This is a higher resolution video, but the key thing I want to look at is how much pink and red that is, and it's pretty much the entire duration of the storm for the state of Iowa. You know, you might have some sleet and snow mixing in up in northern Iowa, maybe a bit more rain further south, but the key to this event is all of that pink and red and that freezing rain, especially in the eastern part of the state. Um, this model gives us a little bit more detail and a little more certainty, especially because it's a short-term model. This is, looking less than 24 hours out now. And, well, that has led the National Weather Service to put out their ice accumulation forecast, at least as it stands currently. The heaviest amount there in eastern Iowa, as we've talked about before. This is going to be the major impacts. But again, if you're in the rest of the state, you shouldn't sleep on this. Any amount of ice can be downright dangerous, not just in terms of power outages, but of course travel. Looking at specific model ice forecast totals, this is the European model, the one we've been looking at for the last few days, and it's being actually a little bit more aggressive, forecasting up to a half inch of ice. That would be quite the event there in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area. And the newer, I say newer because this was put out at noon today. The one we just looked at was 6 o'clock in the morning today. It's even more aggressive with those totals, but a little bit further south in southeast Iowa. That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised, perhaps, that ice storm warning being extended. I'm going to leave it up to the professionals. They're going to make the decision. As always, get the most up-to-date, latest information from the National Weather Service, not YouTube channels like this one or Ryan Hall or any of the other ones that have sprung up here. So let's talk about why we're seeing freezing rain. Now, you might look out at 6 o'clock tomorrow and think, man, it's awfully cold. How can it be raining? Why is it freezing rain and not snow? And, it probably makes sense. You'd think, well, right here, right along the freezing line, that's, where you'd for sure expect freezing rain. But it can happen further north with these cooler surface temperatures because of what's happening further up in the clouds in the storm. So I pulled at the same time tomorrow what's called a skew T-plot near Des Moines. And I want to point out here this surface temperature is forecasted to be 30 degrees. And that temperature is indicated by the red line, and then the green line is the dew point temperature. And in most scenarios, your warmest air is at the surface and it cools the higher you go up until you hit what's called an inversion layer, where the temperature then starts to get warmer again. Well, we have an inversion layer right here, pretty close to the surface, or at least from above the surface to essentially what will probably be the cloud deck. And then as you go up in the storm, yeah, it gets a little bit cooler, but not by much. And even way up near the top of these showers and storms, if you draw a line straight down, it's still to the right, still above that freezing mark. So let's clear this up just a little bit. So we have the top of the storm, and we'll say the cloud deck's probably going to be right in here. So you have precipitation, not precipitation yet, but water vapor, water droplets, all in this storm. And as they fall, you can see most of their life, they're going to be above freezing until they get down here near the surface. So as they come down, it's rain, it's rain, it's rain, and then it freezes right there at the end, right before or as it hits the surface. And that's where you get freezing rain. During the winter months, most of these droplets, water vapor, whatever you want to call it, up in the clouds is usually in the form of snow. And they'll usually, if it's cold enough, stay snow all the way down to the surface, or, you know, if it's warm enough, they just melt when they get here. But, or you get sleet. That is why we're looking at freezing rain and not snow with this event for pretty much all of the state of Iowa. Maybe a little more you wanted to know, but now you know. Last thing I want to leave you with is the forecasted impacts, part of the ice storm warning verbiage from the National Weather Service. And yes, you do want to be prepared, take precautions for power outages, especially in the areas that do see that heavier ice accumulation. And really the whole state, you should just stay home tomorrow. At least wait and see until later in the afternoon. Maybe things have warmed up enough. Streets have cleared, sidewalks are safer, all that. Yeah, could be a messy one. We'll just have to see what transpires here over the next 24 hours. So best thing you do is be prepared and just wait out the storm. As always, thanks for watching. My name's Clarence Smith, lifelong Iowan veteran storm chaser. If you appreciate this channel, leave a comment, like, subscribe, that whole deal. So stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.